Hi guys, Saransh here. So in this video, I'll be discussing with you 25 high frequency vocab words, and these words start with the alphabet C. Alright, so let us start. First is cacophony. What do you mean by cacophony? So cacophony means a harsh sound, alright. Like the sounds which are there in a bazaar. So the bazaar was filled with cacophony of different noises. So there were different noises, there were harsh sounds, there were, uh, horns of vehicles. So like in old Delhi, if you go, so you can definitely get the feeling of this word cacophony. Alright. So let us move on. The next word is cajole. What do you mean by cajole? So cajole means to use flattery or deceit and to persuade. All right. So he hoped to cajole her into selling her house. So like when you go for shopping and the salesman tries to cajole you so that he can sell you things, and he tries to trick you, or maybe she tries to trick you into buying those things. So this is the use of word cajole. Alright. Next is callous. What do you mean by callous? So callous is hardened or unyielding. So this is Callous. Alright. There is another callous which means hardened skin on your body. So that is also a callous, but this Callous means hardened or unyielding. His callous comments, his hardened or unyielding or unsympathetic comments about the murder made me shiver. Alright, so he was very uh, hardened about the murder. He was just talking like nothing has happened. So I don't care what's wrong with your husband, tell him to get to work or he is fired. So that was a callous thing to say, a hardened and unsympathetic thing to say. Alright. Then the next is camaraderie. What do you mean by camaraderie? Camaraderie simply means friendship. Alright. She enjoyed the camaraderie friendship of a group of women on a night out. So she was a night out and she enjoyed the friendship of a group of women. So friendship is camaraderie. And the next word is camouflage. What do you mean by camouflage? Camouflage is a disguise in order to conceal, like they do in the army. All right, so this word is highly used in army and armed forces. People will relate to this image if they have seen, an army personnel. So the caravan was camouflaged with netting and branches from the trees. So in order to conceal, all right, in order to conceal the caravan. Okay, they camouflage it with different things. So the camouflage will be based upon the type of the environment in which the person or the object is. If the environment is forest like environment, there are trees and it is a rainforest type of environment, then this particular kind of camouflage is used so that it looks like you blend in with the forest. If there is a desert, so in that case the desert type of camouflage is used, so that if you sit on the sand or you lay on the ground, then you are not visible because you blend in. Yeah, blending in is a word which you can remember. Okay, blend in. So blend in you can remember, to remember the word camouflage. All right. Then the next is candid. All right. So what does candid means? Candid means frank or straightforward. It is also used in context of pictures. When one clicks a picture and you say it is a candid picture. So if it is a candid picture, then also this word can be used. And the dictionary meaning basically is frank and straightforward. So his responses were remarkably candid. So they were remarkably straightforward. They were straightforward responses. That is what candid means. Then Canon. What do you mean by Canon? Now Canon is also has an other meaning, which means an artillery. You might have seen artillery guns, and so that is a cannon. But it means a basic law or principle by which something is judged. So you might have heard, the engineering students especially and the science students basically might have heard the word canonical. Canonical. So this comes from the word canon. All right. The drinking of cocktails was as canonical as right as the mixing. All right. So it was as basic of a principle. All right. So if you have made the cocktail, then you drink it. So it is something which is used in bars and stuff. All right. Then the next word is cant, and it is not the same as this thing. This. Now this is a whole different thing. This means can not. All right. But this particular thing means an insincere talk or a tilt or an overturn. All right. He had no time for the cant of the priests about sin. So there were priests and they were, talking insincerely about sin, because sometimes that happens uh, with the men who represent religion. So they can also cant about something, talk insincerely. So he had no time for their cant. All right. So look at this picture here. This is a wolf, and it pretends to be, uh, not so bad, but these chickens, they know that his talk is insincere. All right. So that is that is how you can remember cant, cant, without the apostrophe. All right. The next is canvas. What do you mean by canvas? It is, see, here the spelling has two s. All right. But there is another way, which is canvas, canvas. So this canvas, is a drawing board or a piece of a large piece of paper, a large piece of cloth on which, you can paint. That is also a canvas, but it has a single s. This has two s's. All right. So the meaning is discuss thoroughly, or to sort of touting, or try to get votes or support. So when there is election season, many people from different parties, they come to your homes asking that you vote for their party. So that is called canvassing. It was raining when Kelvin went out to canvass his neighbors. All right. So so Kelvin went out to ask for votes. Maybe you cannot say which votes for which thing, but the general sense you can understand from here. All right. The next is cardinal. What do you mean by cardinal? So cardinal means principal, or the chief, or the most important. So like Christianity has cardinal sins. So Christianity has the concept of cardinal sins, that if you commit these sins, then you're definitely going to hell. So those are cardinal sins. So the usage is the most cardinal rule of all that the manager, Mr. Jones, used in his business was to say thank you to the people in his office when they did good work. All right. So that was the most important rule that Mr. Jones used in his business. All right. Another example you can see here is dishonesty is the cardinal rule for success. Now this is a very controversial statement, but people who make money by not so legal methods, they say this thing: dishonesty is the cardinal rule for success. Then the next word is caricature. What do you mean by caricature? It means an exaggerated imitation of a person. So this is kind of a drawing in which the body is made very slim, but the head is made very large. Alright, so if the head is made large and the body is made, slim in a particular picture, then that is called a caricature. Okay, so I wanted a portrait, not a caricature. So this man is saying to the artist that he has made a caricature out of him, and he wanted a portrait. All right. So next word is catalyst. Now, almost all of us know this word. Substance that causes speeding up. It can be in chemistry. It can be in physics also. Catalyst can be physical as well. And in general sense, we can say the first successful heart transplant was the catalyst which started the widespread medical development in the field of cardiology. So they say that the first successful heart transplant was the push that was given, that speeded up the medical development in the field of cardiology. All right. So catalyst is that thing. Okay. So next is cataract. Now cataract has also has two meanings. It is an eye disease and a large waterfall. Okay. It can be a large waterfall or an eye disease, but mainly, most generally, it is known as an eye disease. All right, but remember this thing as well, because vocabulary has different meanings. Cataracts usually occur in both eyes. However, in most cases, one eye is more severely affected than the other. So here you can see in this picture, this is a normal eye and this is an eye with cataract. All right. And the next word is Catholic. Now, people might remember this from Christianity. Okay, Christianity. There is a sect in Christianity, which the sect is called Catholic, and it is the largest sect in Christianity. But Catholic also means comprehensive or universal. So extensive reading and attending lectures at the university gave her a Catholic understanding of the issues. All right. I often regret that I never made use of my comprehensive wisdom. Now, instead of this comprehensive, the word can be used Catholic. Okay. So next word is caustic. Now, caustic means biting and sarcastic. If you have the word caustic soda, so caustic soda is a kind of a base, and this is called, the word caustic is used because this base dissolves thing. It tarnishes things. Okay. So after being in the terrible car accident and seeing death before him, Don had such a caustic, such a biting, such a severe fearfulness of such vehicles that he never put his foot into an automobile again. So this is also a usage of the word caustic. Okay. So the next is cede or cession. So this means to surrender possession of, okay, especially by a treaty. So this thing happens between the nations or empires, okay, or kingdoms. So this thing happens between those things. All right. The law required the cession of the property to Jacob's heirs. Okay. And in this picture you can see this part, the darker part was ceded into the United States. Okay, so United States purchased this land from Mexico. So this is kind of a story. All right, so this is how you can use the word cession. Next is celerity. Celerity means rapidity of motion or action. Okay. Gossip often travels with celerity, with rapidity. All right, gossip travels very fast, as well as children who are trying to get to a big plate of cookies. So if children see something which they love to eat, so they run towards this. All right, so you can see in this picture who'll volunteer for a dangerous assignment. So everybody now is running from this because nobody wants to do that. Okay, so there is a celerity in their actions. Next is celestial. What do you mean by celestial? Celestial means of the heavens and the sky. So stars basically, and planets, all right, and comets are celestial bodies. They are called celestial bodies. So planets are considered to be celestial bodies. So this is a sentence here. Next is celibacy. What do you mean by celibacy? So celibacy means complete sexual abstinence, to refrain from sexual activity, or the state of being unmarried. All right. So David decided that he could not live a life of celibacy, and so he left the priesthood so he could marry the woman he loved. All right. So priests, basically, in Christianity, the priests are expected to lead a life of celibacy. Like in India, we have sannyasis. All right, so they lead a life of celibacy, but of course, in this kind of time which we are living in, it is not totally true with regards to priests or sannyasis or anybody else for that matter. So in this picture you can see the priests, they are, they have to live a life of celibacy. So he is saying celibate. I said celibate, not a celebrate. Okay, so you also don't confuse yourself with this thing. Next is censor, or censure, you can say as well. All right, censure. Censure means to expression of blame or disapproval, a rebuke, a rebuke. All right, so it is disapproval of something. Verna was held up for public censure, public disapproval, because of her radical views regarding birth control. All right, and in this picture you can say shame on you for taking that sign off the bench. Okay, so she disapproves his action and they are sitting on a newly painted bench. All right, so this is called censure. Next is chaff. Now we all know, because India is such, and the major part of Indian economy is agriculture, so we should all know what chaff is. It is grain husk. The other meaning is to tease good naturedly, but mainly this one is generally used. The chaff of corn was separated by winnowing and threshing. So thresher, you all know, threshing is an activity by which you separate the grain from the chaff. Then the next is charismatic. What do you mean by charismatic? Charismatic means possessing spiritual grace and something which is inspiring. Okay, like Mahatma Gandhi, like Che Guevara, like Nelson Mandela, like Martin Luther King. So these all were charismatic figures. So he was a charismatic figure with great appeal to the public. Okay, then next is chisel. What do you mean by chisel? So chisel means a steel tool for shaping materials. So mechanical engineers might be familiar and civil engineers might be familiar with this thing. So a hammer and a chisel were used to rip the piece of wood. Okay, so this was chisel. Then the next word is chromatic. What do you mean by chromatic? So chromatic means of color, something which has color. The strikingly chromatic paintings of Matisse and other Fauvists was admired by everybody. All right, so this is chromatic, and it comes from the word chroma. All right, chroma means color. Okay, so this is chromatic. Then the next is circumscribe. Okay, Circumscribe means to draw line around or to limit. This also means to limit somebody's capabilities. Like here's the person and you limit his capabilities, not just physically, but with in accordance to his powers, in accordance to what he can do and cannot do. All right. The minister's powers are circumscribed, okay, by both the tradition and the organization of local government. So there is only so much that the minister can do, because his powers are limited by social norms. All right. So these were the 25 words, which start with C, and these are very high frequency words often asked in exams. So please go through this and memorize every word, memorize their usage, so you can do very good in exams in according to your vocabulary. Okay, thank you.